What is up, bros? Josh here. In today's video, we're diving into update 0.8.9, which just hit World of Warships and is now live on every server, so go check it out. It is a big one to download, which is kind of surprising because the download is relatively large. However, the amount of content is relatively small compared to what we've seen in the past, and that's because of the division of this update, which we'll get to in just a second. It's basically divided into two separate parts. However, though, 8.9, the main thing is the start of the Italian cruisers. As always, I'll put a link down below to all this information. We will be checking out several things. You can check out the video yourself. Even the video was relatively short compared to the other ones, but definitely worth checking it out because there's some awesome stuff. However, the start of Italian cruisers, now this is basically seems to be the pattern that World of Warships is going to be releasing new lines. Originally, it was the start of getting the early access to the ships, and then later in the patch, you could unlock the rest. This seems to be how they're going to be doing it in the future, where there is an early access you can get through certain containers, which we've seen this on multiple ones now through events and through directives, as well as premium containers. You then go in, you basically play the game, you do your directives, you get some containers with a chance of getting a mission, and then you get a chance to unlock a early access of between the tier 5 all the way to the tier 8, and then in 8.10, which is the next patch, you will then unlock the entire line, or the ability to unlock the entire line and play it normally. So a cool way to maybe get an early start to this ship and the start to these lines, as well as a premium ship. You'll be able to get through all of this, which is kind of cool as well. It seems to be the pattern that they're going to be doing, basically the temporary currency, then the chance of getting an early access, and then then play it and then wait for the next patch. This is something that was kind of interesting that they changed up recently, maybe 2 or 3 lines ago, and looks like the pattern they're going to kind of stick with. There are some new directives, however. One, of course, the major update has 4 sets of directives, which are usually split out between 5 to 6 days. Then each one of those is going to have 10 to 12 missions you can do in each one. They're actually kind of these ones aren't as grindy as the last ones. People have noticed that if you did last updates directives, those ones were extremely grindy. These ones are really easy. You can knock them out in a decent little section, or decent little session of playing the game. Really not that bad compared to the last ones. The new currency, temporary currency, is the Italian tokens, and with that you can unlock the chance of getting the Genova, the tier 5 Italian cruiser, which we will at some point do a is it worth it video and a quick preview on this, or a review on this. So while this one's going to work, instead of just in previous ones, if you got enough of the tokens, you could then do it. These ones are going to be in bundles. Basically, there is a new interface that you can look at, and you will get a chance of it basically has a loot table, and you will get the containers through that, and then it shows you what you will get next time. So you can either get the first time, or it can take you all of 22 bundles, but the chance is there to get a free ship. A little bit different, have it be, it is what it is, but you will potentially get a tier 5 premium cruiser, which is kind of cool, especially for the upcoming training, since Italian line, if you don't have one of the already premium ships, it's going to be tough to really get a captain for it. So this one's going to be a nice little trainer for getting your captain ready. So Halloween, this is what I'm kind of talking about being a split up of this content. Now, Halloween is something we have seen for multiple years. I even talked about this on stream, that the Halloween event is something that's been around for 3+ years. And so that's why me as a player, I've kind of already done this. However, there are some new hard modes. Basically, this 2 new operations, or 2 same operations, saving Transylvania and Sunray in the Darkness. So that's basically the escort mission, and then basically the stopping the waves of enemies and protecting the towers. Things, if you've been around the game for multiple years, you know that this is already kind of a thing, right? So one thing that is new this year is there is going to be some hard modes, which is kind of nice. There's hard mode, and then there's very hard mode. I will be doing these live on stream, so come check us out, twitch.tv/mejosh. I will be doing some video on these as well. Basically seems like kind of the same thing, just obviously harder. So maybe not the most exciting thing. I think it's an interesting idea of making harder operations, but these are operations we've already played. We've already played multiple years, so that's why I'm not super excited about this. That's why I'm saying this content is pretty light. This is stuff that's basically just been reused. Now, it is an awesome way. The camos are really cool. It is kind of a cool way to get a bunch of friends together and just go mess around in some operations, but I wish they maybe would change it up a little bit. This is stuff that we were playing back in 2016 on some of these, especially Saving Transylvania. So you will be able to go out there and get some ships with 19-point captains for the event. So Saving Transylvania will be the tier 3s, and then Sunray in the Darkness will be the tier 8s. So if you've played them before, you're going to be playing them again, and it's the exact same thing. However, though, the thing about this is the hard modes are going to be live now. They will be bringing in a new operation, or the new game mode, which is Raid of the Filth, or For the Filth, that we've seen some kind of highlights to. They're going to be releasing more in the future, but this doesn't come out until later in the month. So about 2 weeks, we're going to see basically a whole nother set of content within this patch. So the first couple weeks are going to be pretty much the chance of getting early access to the Italian cruisers, the directives, the operations we've basically already played before, and then 2 weeks into this update, which is October 30th, we will get then the new Raid of For the Filth game mode, which I'm really excited for to check this out. But obviously that'll kind of be its own content later. I'll do a video on this. I'm excited about this, but right now we just can't play that, so we are kind of waiting. Clan Battles, the next season of Clan Battles, the 7th season, is going to be on codename is Crash Zone Alpha, and will be held between October 23rd to December 8th. So this again is something that's going to be a little bit into the update. So nothing you can really do there. Maybe prepare for it if you want to get your clan members. Interesting change though. It's going to be 8v8 and it's going to be tier 10s. But this one is going to allow up to 2 battleships per each team, so that's kind of interesting, and still no CVs. So kind of an interesting bit of a change there. Now, this has been something I'm interested in seeing what you guys think of the format changing. Not so much the 2 battleships, but the actual team size getting changed from 7 players on each team to now 8 players. That is something that I feel like is actually going to kind of push away some clans. It is actually quite hard to get 7 people together during those small time frames during the set of the week, since it's not open all the time. However, there are some different time zones you can pick. But what do you guys think about the bigger teams? It seems like it's going to be a lot harder to fill an extra slot. It seems like, oh, it's just one more person, but I think that's actually going to be quite hard for a lot of clans to get that extra person. I know even my clan, we really haven't played many clan battles in the past, because you get about that 5 or 6 people, and you're kind of begging to get that 7th person. Now you have to get that 8th person. So I'm interested in what your guys' feedback is down in the comments. Let me know. Do you guys like the 8v8 format? Now it will change some metas. Obviously the 2 battleships will have a whole different set of meta. Bring in multiple ships, but still tier 10 and on the new maps. So interested in what you guys think about that, going from 7v7 to 8v8. Really kind of interested in what you guys have to say about this. Some small changes to the spotting and detectability system. This one is basically going to get away from what was kind of almost like a buggy system that they had for a while with the detectability of ships, and that is the flickers that we've seen, as they even state here, where a ship would kind of appear, disappear, appear, disappear. This is going to make that more fluid. It's basically, if your ship is then spotted for that split second, you will then stay spotted for a longer time and continue to be spotted, instead of just the in and out, which we've seen multiple times. It is kind of annoying where you pop smoke, and let's say a ship had fired or whatever, it goes undetected, pops back up, goes undetected, and then continues to be detected, or whatever the situation may be. This seems it's going to be kind of smoothing that over, which is kind of nice, and kind of getting rid of this in out of being detected. Just a nice little quality of life thing. Also some other balances. The Błyskawica, which is a ship that I played the other day a decent amount on stream, it has gotten a small little buff. Now this is the tier 7, was Polish destroyer. Now I think it's just called the European destroyer. Is a pretty solid tier 7 premium. This is a ship that I've loved for a long time, and it's actually gotten a small buff of a half a second off its reload, and it's actually quite fun. Excited to play more of this ship. It's a ship I've played a lot but haven't played for a long time, so excited to get back into getting some more games. The Hosho is getting a small nerf. This is one that should have been fixed a long time ago. Seal Clubbers will now stop playing the Hosho as much, I suppose, but they're going to get a bit of a change to their torpedoes. The new torpedoes will have a speed of 40 knots instead of 50, and then the speed of torpedo bombers returning to the aircraft has been reduced. So if you have played low tiers, you're maybe wondering why there's so many 3 CV matches. Well, because there was a lot of people playing low tier CVs because of how strong they were, and the Hosho was just absolutely spamming with one of its recent buffs. is going to a 2 torpedo setup. So yeah, it's getting a nerf. This should have happened almost instantly, but it was there for, I believe, a full update. So sorry, new players and other people playing low tiers who were getting farmed by CVs. Hopefully that won't happen as much. But the small little nerf there, hopefully that'll fix the world that is the low tiers. Also, some French destroyers getting some changes here. It's super low tiers, so I don't get super excited about these, but they're getting some small balances, as well as the Vladi and the Kremlin are both getting nerfs. The Sigma for the Vladi is getting changed from 1.7 to 1.6. I don't see this affecting the ship too much. Also, the Kremlin is getting nerfed into the ground now. The tier 10 battleship that is laughable about with how strong it is. The AP shells were reduced. The max damage from 15,500 to 14,500, and changed some other related parameters which aren't stated here. For HE shells, we've reduced the maximum damage from 6.6k to 6.5. Oh my gosh, it's going to be unplayable. The chances of causing fire from 48% to 45%. We won't see a single fire from a Kremlin now. And the efficiency of the Kremlin was higher, blah, blah, blah. It's extremely strong. It continues to be extremely strong. These changes will probably have no real impact, the ones that are stated here. But the ones that we don't know what else were changed were the changes to some other related parameters, blah, 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 right here, as long as the changes were slightly changed, the new armor, pen, and ballistics. So we don't have these values, or at least we haven't in this post. Kremlin is getting quote-unquote nerfed. I see it having no effect on the ship. I don't see it kind of losing its crown as being the best tier 10 battleship that is. So we will see. Interested in seeing what these other variables are. I don't see it affecting the ship too much. Both of these I don't see affecting the ships too much. The Vladi kind of being maybe a small impact here. Maybe you'll see a little bit of a dip in average damage, but nothing too crazy. Finally, some more changes to the audio, which, as we all know, went through the second big change of adding all these new sounds. This is something that is getting kind of had a lot of bugs, basically. A lot of things weren't working. Things were super loud. Things were... you couldn't hear other things. You couldn't hear secondaries, couldn't hear planes. This has finally gotten some fixes instead of just the quote-unquote workarounds. So this is kind of nice. Also, the big change that I'm excited for is the fire alarm system, which would go off for the entirety of a single fire. That has gone back up to only going on if you have 3 or more fires. So this is quite nice. I wish they would just make it so you could turn the fire noise off compared to just like the fire graphics. But yes, this is back off. A bunch of other ones. I'm not going to dive into everything. Also, the ability to sort things out. This is something that has been asked for a long time of quote-unquote special ships. So this is going to be stuff for rental ships, event ships, early access ships, yada, yada. So this is going to be basically if you have rentals, let's say you had a rental gearing, but you already had the gearing, you won't then have a double gearing in your port. So you will be able to click all that off if you have no interest in seeing that. That is assuming you don't want to play the event stuff that's going on at that time or the early access stuff. You can then just get rid of that by clicking it, and those are now labeled as quote-unquote special ships, so kind of nice there. Also, some other stuff too, some camos, and the spectator mode has also been added too, so it's going to make the King of the Sea and whatnot awesome. But yeah, content-wise in this, kind of lacking in my opinion. I feel like this is a pretty small patch. There's a couple other things that are in this patch, but this is all pretty minor stuff. There are some combat missions, as there is in everything, and you will be able to get some free stuff. So again, I'll put a link down to all this. This is the UI for the boxes. You can then go in and obviously, boom, if you get lucky enough, in this example, took them 18 of 22 tries. Take 70 of the tokens. You go in and potentially get some ships. You do get some decent flags and whatnot, so it is kind of nice. Also, daily shipments and whatnot too. Always there. I do kind of like this. It gives you an incentive of logging in. Also, the Battle of Leyte Gulf. So this is a link of it's going to have some daily stuff. Obviously, you'll be in game anyway, so you could have a chance of getting all of that in October and November. So some pretty cool things there. Also, if you want to check us out on twitch.tv, I'll put a link down below. You can get some drops this update. So every update is going to have some new drops. This one gives you the chance of winning the Tier 5 Hill, the King of the Hill, one of my favorite Tier 5 destroyers. So come check us out, twitch.tv/Mejesh, and be sure to connect your loots or your drops with this, and you can get the chance of winning the tier 5. Again, I'll put down a video. It probably has a tutorial, or you can come into my chat, twitch.tv/mejash, and do !drops, which has a small video. I'll put a link down below to my video that shows you how to set it up. But you have a chance of getting these cool rewards. This will be some Twitch challenges, as well as the normal Twitch drops, which gives you some cool things, and then the epic drops, which could give you the hill. Last but not least is some small super test changes that we will get in this patch, which is going to be the Puerto Rico is getting a big buff from 1.9 to 2.2 on its Sigma, and then the German cruiser main, which we haven't even seen yet, getting a small nerf to its armor, and then some other Italian cruisers. I thought this was kind of funny that the Italian cruisers were basically going quote unquote live, and right before they go live, they're getting changes. So I feel like that line just isn't finalized overall. I feel like it needs some love. But overall, kind of a smaller patch. I feel like there's some small quality of life changes, fixing some audio, fixing some detectability stuff, and then stuff we've kind of already seen before. Halloween stuff that we've been playing for the last 3 years. We have a line that we can, we have some directives to do, some line that maybe we can get early. Overall, 8.9 is kind of underwhelming in my opinion. I feel like there just isn't that much to do. Log on, do your directives, hop on, get a 5-star in the operations, and then you're done. I mean, then we're kind of just waiting until the new game mode, which isn't for 2 weeks, and then we're just sitting and not really having too much to do. Kind of underwhelming. 8.9. Italian cruisers I feel like are super underwhelming, and I think a lot of people really aren't even excited about them. But anyways, we'll be doing all this live on my Twitch channel, as we do as always. So you can come hang out with us there, talk about the patch, and let us know what you think about the Italian cruisers and the Halloween event and everything that's going on in this patch. Anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.